What's a non-obvious sign that somebody is wealthy? If everyone in a room is wearing a suit except for one guy in jeans and a sweatshirt, then that guy is either a criminal, the it guy, or everyone's boss. Worked at a 5-star hotel as a banquet cook and a group came in for meetings dinner that we were only told was very VIP. Most people in suits and fancy clothes. Guy walks up to me in jeans and a sweater. Asks me how my night was as he grabbed another dinner roll and thanked me for the food. The guy who was in charge of running things for this group walks up to me and informs me I had just met Rob Walton, chairman of Walmart and 11th richest person in the world at the time. Back in my college days we had a friend who came from a pretty wealthy family, but you couldn't tell because he lived in the dorms like everyone else. Except anytime someone suggested we go to a restaurant or to a game or show, he never asked about how much it cost or said he'd have to check his bank account like other people would say. Then one day he casually mentioned his father was going to bring him back to campus in their helicopter. Quite a few people who grow up with wealth conceal it. If they don't want you to know, you won't. During college I was dating a man for the better part of a year before finding out that his parents' residence was an entire floor of a fashionable Upper East Side Manhattan building. Their summer house was in Paris. One of his worries in life was about attracting parasites, so he had anticipated anything that could give away how much money was in his background. Occasionally it was useful to tip that hand. His mother had worn her mink coat when she co-signed his apartment lease. He spent modestly on dates and wore ordinary clothes. He had put a lot of thought into looking like a middle-class guy. I knew paying bills weren't a problem for him, but he was kind of embarrassed when he revealed what his situation actually was. If you live in Silicon Valley, you won't be able to spot the poor from the rich. You can have a millionaire walk next to you in Target pants and drive a Honda. Their kids have no pressure to get regular, middle-class jobs. Some families I know have 3-4 kids and are very proud this one is an artist. That one is 40 and getting a PhD. The other acts and directs local theater. It's a subtle status symbol to support your kid in whatever. I have a minor panic attack. How does that pay the bills? But it doesn't have to. I don't see a lot of designer purses or granite countertops, but a lot of art. And every piece, there's an accompanying story about being in that country, or knowing that artist. That artist stayed in their house, etc. Had a roommate in first year who rarely lived in the dorm but had food delivered daily that tasted like it was picked out and cooked the same morning. Well, we invite him to street Paddy's Day and I notice his watch, to which I drop a "That's really cool." Mind, I see it half drunk. I saw the watch face and asked him about the symbol. Mind you, this watch was really heavy as I am holding it, and he says it's the family sigil. I was holding a 23k gold watch and he turned out to be part of the Qatari royal family. Dude could easily stunt on any one of us. So I guess it's the small things in their lifestyle and how modestly someone can wear $100,000 on their wrist. They never mention money or their status. Truth story, my friend went to college and befriended a girl. After 2 years they took a class together. Made a presentation. Saw the girl's full name. In our culture your full name is your name, father's name, family name, and was shocked to realize her father was the next in line ruler of the country. She used her name, father's name, throughout college so people wouldn't know who she really was. Their time is more valuable than their money. So if you see they are more concerned about how long something will take, rather than how expensive, that's a tip-off. I work at a luxury car dealership, so I see my fair share of wealthy people. The one thing that stands out between them and regular people is how carefree and nice they are. I crashed a lady's car once, pretty badly, and all she did was laugh and say, "The important thing is that you're not hurt." I was astonished, since I'm used to my mom being so frantic and, frankly, abusive to employees if even the slightest thing is wrong. For women, I say their hair tells a lot about how much money they have. Rich women with thin hair get extensions. Their hair is dyed by someone who picks out the most flattering tone and shade for them. They get treatments and blowouts regularly. How they tip. Not to say that rich people inherently tip more or whatever. But I have some friends that will go through and figure out what 15% of a bill is. And others that will just do 20% outright because the math is easier and it's not worth it to them to do the rest. For what it's worth. I also have met rich folks who are super penny pinchers and will do the math every time. Not a surefire tell. But the manner in which someone tips can be a data point. I used to sell new cars in a sparsely populated area. One time an old geezer comes in overalls and grubby looking. All the other salesmen scattered because nobody wanted him. I was the slowest to see him. So I got stuck with him. He turned out to be what we called in the business a laydown. Told me which truck he wanted. Paid sticker price. In cash. Easiest sale I ever made. And taught me a great life lesson too. I once logically deduced a dude was wealthy because he didn't have a job and was utterly unconcerned about this and thought that he might like to be a detective. You know. For funsies. He also owned a house and was renovating it. I was like, okay. There is no way this guy can be this ducking chill about without also being loaded. I pressed him into admitting it. He, you know, didn't want to admit it because then people would only want his money. Well, you aren't doing a terribly good job of hiding it either. I saw a guy my age who had a really nice watch on. Wearing basic jeans. A nice t-shirt. And a leather jacket. Other than the jacket. He looked like a middle-class 20-something-year-old. The watch didn't look super fancy but you could tell it was a price of variety. I figured around a few hundred or so. I figured that it was maybe a gift from his family. He was cute and I wondered what brand the watch was, so I looked it up. Turns out it was a $30,000 watch. He had my student loan debt on his wrist. Not looking at prices when you ask how much something is and they don't know. Hear me out. Asked an old friend how much their vet exam fee was because they always spoke highly of them. Literally just blank stare and I have no idea. It was like that about everything. Get charged. Just hand over card without looking. My grandfather had a fishing boat at a marina. He commented that the guys that wore the nicest clothes and a captain's hat usually had the crappiest boats. He was right. You really can't tell if someone is wealthy in many cases. That's because they don't want you to know. It's an insecure person that flaunts wealth. They itch about every single price. I work in a plumbing supply shop. And some of our wealthiest customers will throw fits if something costs a shade higher than at the store across town. And X200B. Some of our best customers. Pulling in tens of thousands a month from 100s of rental properties